Hi guys, so I wanted to do a quick introduction as to Automailer. So you might have seen me post about Automailer online so far, and basically asking, what the hell is this? So I'll just run through, going to do a real quick demo, just explain why I built Automailer in the first place as well. And yeah, hopefully you guys can give it a try. So Automailer effectively is a way of generating newsletters on autopilot effectively. When I'm running my own personal newsletters, I find that generating content or finding content for the newsletter, especially if I'm doing daily or weekly newsletters, is extremely hard and quite a tedious process. And I wanted to build a tool that effectively gave me the starting blocks in order to complete and finish and finalize that newsletter, but also to make it hyper relevant for my audience. And in general, my newsletters are just content I posted on my blogs and then pushed into a newsletter and then distributed to my newsletter audience in order to generate clicks, to drive traffic. So Automailer, you can find it at automailer.ai. That does exactly that. It was launched only a week ago, so it's relatively new. But in general, the premise is that for now, what you can do is you can generate a newsletter, you can plug in or pull in content that we suggest to you or content directly from your RSS feed and generate a newsletter, take that, drop it in your newsletter sending tool and hit send. For now, the pricing is, we've got a starter plan at $19 per month and a daily plan at $39 per month. The starter plan allows you to do 10 newsletter campaigns per month per newsletter, whereas the daily one, you'll be able to do unlimited newsletters every single month. You can also, say for example, if you run more than one newsletter, you can add newsletters to this. So for now, the basic plan will only allow you to generate one newsletter for your plan. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. So to start off with, what you'll have to do is you'll have to come in and create a newsletter. So a newsletter will be the overarching unit that owns the newsletter. So in my case, it may be Automailer. So all my users from Automailer will get this newsletter. You drop in the title, drop in the website, you put in your audience, and then after that you can select a tone of voice, so serene, inspirational, etc, etc. The most interesting thing about these tones of voices is with AI especially, you need tailored and trained models, and AI loves to have a basis point in order to understand, say for example, if it's writing in a tone of voice. And I've used celebrities in order to drive and train those models. This should allow the output to be extremely sort of linear and consistent throughout all of your newsletter generations as well. You can select a point of view, so first person, second person, third person. English, of course, Automailer supports a whole bunch of languages. Why wouldn't it? And then lastly, you can input a webhook URL. So the webhook URL is an early phase as to what I'd like to deliver with Automailer eventually. But this allows you to then, maybe set up a process that captures those newsletters and distributes it automatically for you. Going forward, I'd love to automate all of this as well. Custom header image, pretty straightforward. Drop your logo in there. That will turn up on every single newsletter that's generated for you. And then lastly, keywords. So if you drop these keywords in, this will allow Automailer to go to our database of over 100,000 daily new trending news articles. So for example, if you don't have your own content, this will use those keywords in order to find fresh content for you. So yeah, have a play around with those, add those in. They're effectively search terms. So yeah, use that, experiment, see what it comes up with. Now, once you've created your newsletter, I've already created one here for Automailer. You'll be able to access your past campaigns. So when you create a campaign, it will turn up here. And then you'll also be able to edit those settings that I've just shown to you. So let's get on to creating a new campaign. So for starters, the title's not really associated with the newsletter. It doesn't use the title when it builds it. This is just for your reference, so put in whatever you'd like. The editor note, the model does use the editor's note. So in here, I'm going to do daily newsletter letter update. Now let's find some content for this newsletter. So there's two ways of working with this, two ways of, generating workflow. So one would be entering article URLs. So if you have an existing newsletter, take those articles that you've already written on that newsletter and drop that in here. This will then generate a newsletter based on those articles that you selected. Going forward, I'll add like an RSS feed generator or a sitemap generator that will allow you to, click and choose ones that you find relevant. But for now, drop them in there. So if I've got an Automailer blog, I'd take some blog posts from my Automailer. If you don't actually have any content, I've added this need inspiration, find articles you like functionality here. So in here, this is already tailored to the keywords that I've set for this newsletter already. But here you'll be able to just search, find things that are extremely interesting for your niche. Let's select 2 here. So email marketing for small businesses, and this business, maybe not that one. 10 best design ideas for your next email. Straightforward. I've added these 2 articles. What you can do is you'll see the layout in a second, but you'll be able to adjust the summary length. So in general, this newsletter template or the newsletter format I've selected, so you can have like a summary of the article, and there will be a link to that article plus a feature image as well. So you can adjust the summary length. You can also add a custom prompt. This is not necessary at all, but if you wanted it to elaborate on a certain element of that article in order to generate a better hook or something like that, you can use this input too. I'm going to go ahead and hit the generate. So what this is going to do is this drives and will build a HTML email template for you. It's totally responsive, so it should be beautiful on all platforms. And at the moment, I've opted for a very basic and straightforward email template design. But it will generate the header. So if you added a logo previously, it will add the logo header in the top. The next phase will be like a basic introduction or description of the newsletter. So it'll be like, hey guys, welcome to this week's daily newsletter. Here is a rundown of all the things that we're going to discuss today. But in general, that summary is just to guide the users and try and draw them in. After that, it will then create each feature section. So for each article that you've selected or provided to Automailer, it will then generate a summary of that article. It will attach a feature image. So we use ideogram in order to generate images. So if it can generate an image for that feature section, it will. Otherwise, it won't. So as you can see, as you'll be able to see, you'll have a campaign with a nice title, summary section of text, and a button underneath. So there we go. It's created our first campaign. So it's given you a title as well to start off with. You can. I've partnered with a email template design platform. So this allows you to do smart headings. So you can either edit these headings or you can use AI to rewrite them as well. We've got that introduction summary that I mentioned. And then we have each feature section. So we've got an email marketing title, we've got a feature image. This also has a magic image feature as well. So if you want to change these images in any way, shape or form, you can. Otherwise you can drop in your own image URL. You've got the summary and you've got the link. The great thing about this is a full functional email editing template platform. So you can drag in headings, you can drag in a menu section if you like, or add custom HTML or dividers or anything like that. Next step, you can send a test email. So if you want to just test to see how the email looks, you can send a test to yourself. Right now, the support for exporting is either via the webhook or via HTML directly. So you can actually just copy and paste this into your preferred email platform. The more people use it, this is fantastic. I get feedback all the time. So in terms of roadmap, I'd like to do direct integrations with other email platforms as well, just to make this a bit more smooth. I'm going to do an auto generation functionality. So you could set a daily or a weekly auto generation. It will just go ahead and generate newsletters for you based on perhaps an RSS feed that you pass. So if you run a blog somewhere, it will generate newsletters for you. And then lastly, I'd like to do direct integration with perhaps an SMTP service. So you'll be able to upload your list here and then fire an email directly off to your users directly from Automailer. Brilliant. Well, give the tool a try and drop me an email or get in touch with me if you have any questions. Find me on Twitter. If you find me on Twitter, ask me for a discount code. I have some discount codes going for a select number of few people who have watched this email, and congrats for getting to the end. And yeah, in general, I'm looking forward to you giving it a try, and let me know how you feel. Cheers. Bye.